Today we're taking a look at 5 tips on how to save money on home internet after you cut the cord. For years now I've been writing about cord cutting and helping you save money on the TV you want to watch. And in talking to cord cutters over those years, I found that most are overpaying for home internet. There's a few common mistakes of not doing your research or buying things you don't really need that are some of the prime causes. Today I wanted to take a look at the 5 tips I found work for me and work for cord cutters I've talked to on helping them save money on home internet after they cut the cord. Now, not all these tips will work for everyone, but my hope is that some of them will help you and help you lower your home internet bill. If you want to see everything I've talking about, all the text on the screen and writing, we have a link to it down in the show notes over to cordcuttersnews.com if you're more of a reader learner versus an audio visual learner. So check that link down in the show notes if you're looking for everything I'm talking about today in writing. Tip number 1, shop around. And I already hear the comments. Luke, I live in an area where there is no other option for home internet. And yes, if you live in some very rural areas, or maybe you're unfortunate to live in an apartment complex that has a monopoly on home internet, that's true. But the vast majority of Americans do have at least 2 options with DSL cable, and a growing number are getting a fixed wireless, a fiber option. Just last week in New York City, 5G home internet launched with a couple hundred down speed, $50 a month, no data cap. So there are other options out there, and I would encourage you not to discount DSL. And I get it, DSL has a reputation of being slow and unreliable, but in recent years, AT&T and CenturyLink, the 2 largest DSL providers, have really invested heavily in improving their networks, rolling out more fiber. I just lived in an area where DSL was the fastest internet option, faster than cable internet. When I cut the cord, I did it with DSL because it was the fastest internet option. There's also resellers out there for AT&T DSL, like Toast.net, who we've worked with in the past. Other ones like DSL Extreme, who typically offer a data cap free option with US-based customer service. Do your research, shop around. Even if you've had a plan for a while, you've been happy, look around again, because we often find that internet providers will launch better internet plans and not always tell you. And if you want to get them, you have to go look for them and ask, like, oh, hey, I'm paying $70 for a month, but I'm seeing you now offer $100 down for the same price. Would you upgrade me? It used to be they would always do that automatically, but in the last year or so, a growing number of internet providers are not automatically upgrading internet-only customers to the higher speed unless you ask. So do your research every year or 2 years. Just spend an hour, check out the competition, see if anything new launched, and check out your current provider to see if they have a cheaper plan or if they have a faster plan for the same amount of money you're paying now. So if I could tell you anything, shopping around is the number 1, and don't get caught into the idea that, oh, you know what, it doesn't bother, no reason to, there's no other options, there's no better plans. You'll be amazed. In the last couple of years, a lot of new options have come out, and they sometimes make it a little bit hard for you to know if you're a current customer that there's a better option out there. Number 2, lower your internet speed. A vast majority of cord cutters I talk to are way overpaying for internet. When I was talking to a customer rep who works in a phone center for a major cable company, they were very clear with me. When they hear, they're trained, when they're here somebody's going to cut the cord or they're going to go streaming only or internet only, that they must upsell them on internet speed. And they tell them things like, hey, you know what, you're going to need a much faster internet speed to stream Netflix or Hulu. I've even heard of people being talked into business class internet for cord cutting. The truth is, you don't need a crazy fast internet. I cut the cord with just 10 down. My wife and I were more than able to enjoy that. From talking to people, executives inside major streaming companies, some of the largest companies in the United States, multiple of them have told me 20, 25 down if all you're doing is streaming Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or maybe Sling TV or Hulu or all these others live TV services are really what you need. Netflix says 5 down is the average you need per HD stream. So if you get like a 20, 25 down internet speed, you could do 4 or 5 HD streams of Netflix at once. From talking to executives, once you get over 100 down, the 100 Mbps internet speed you often see advertised, you really don't see a big effect when it comes to streaming. Now, I get it. There are some people out there who are big gamers. There are some people out there like myself who work from home, who do a lot of video uploading, large files, who pay for the higher speed so you can get a faster upload, or maybe, again, you're a gamer and you want that. But the vast majority of Americans are not heavy gamers. They're not working from home. They're not uploading large video files to YouTube. And they just want to stream Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. My recommendation is to start on the low end. And there's one other reason to do this. They will always raise your speed. But if you, for example, get a gigabyte speed and you realize, hey, I'm not using anywhere near that amount of speed, I want to downgrade. Some internet providers will say, hey, you signed a contract. You're stuck until that contract is over. We won't go down. But I find they're always willing to take more money. If you start at a basic 20, 25 down, I know in some areas maybe 50 is the lowest you can get now. They're always willing to raise you up and have you pay a few extra bucks a month. They're happy to get more money from you. The downside is that they're not necessarily happy to lower your bill and let you pay less when you're under contract. So, I mean, just look at Sling TV. They recommend for mobile 3 down, but for home internet 25 down. They say with 25 down, consistent speed, you should be able to get your streaming of Sling TV happily. So just keep that in mind. You can always go up later. Trust me, I've done it before. They're very, very happy to take your money. The thing they're not happy about is downgrading you. So just keep that in mind. Next up is buy a modem. And I'm going to add a little bit to this, to buy a Wi-Fi router. Now, most cable providers like Comcast will now charge you a fee. Some of them I've heard as high as $12 a month for either renting a modem or, in Spectrum's case, renting Wi-Fi. Spectrum will give you a free modem, but if you want Wi-Fi, that's 10 or 12 bucks depending where you live with it. Buy one is the number one thing, especially if they're giving you a free modem like Spectrum does. Go to Best Buy, go to Amazon, Walmart, buy a Netgear or a D-Link or one of the other popular brands of Wi-Fi routers. And if you buy a $100 Wi-Fi router at 10 bucks a month, before the end of the year, you've saved 20 bucks. If you look at over 3 years, that $10 modem or Wi-Fi router, which probably costs them less than $100, you're going to pay over $360 over 3 years for that device. That's money you're throwing away. If you think about it, that 10 bucks a month could buy you Hulu. It could buy you a new season or a month of Disney Plus every month instead of renting a modem. Now, it's a little bit of an upfront cost, but in the long run, you're going to save money. Do your research. Comcast and most internet providers do offer a website that lists supported modems and supported routers out there. Best Buy and other places sell them. Don't work for Best Buy, don't get anything from them, but I would recommend, if you're questioning what you should get, go to Best Buy. Just find a rep, say, hey, I want a Wi-Fi router or I want a modem for Comcast or Spectrum. And they'll walk you over there and they'll say, hey, here's the certified Comcast modems. I believe now Amazon, last time I checked it, if you enter like Comcast modems, they will show you the ones that are certified, and they'll say certified for Comcast and all these other providers. So do your research. If you are paying for a modem, if you are paying for Wi-Fi routers, stop it, buy your own. You'll be very happy you did. Next up, how to talk to your cable company. I often hear, hey, Luke, I have cable. I really like it. I don't want to get rid of it. I'm not willing to get DSL. All right. I still have you covered with a few ideas here, but you still need to do your research. Just calling, Comcast or Spectrum and saying, I want my internet bill lowered, rarely works. But if you call them and say, hey, DSL is offering me $45 a month for the same speed, you're charging me $70, you'll be amazed how often they will actually match that. Now, you need to put your poker face on a little bit. You need to be willing to say, hey, you know what? If you can't match this or give me a better deal somehow, I'm going to leave. Often they will, may take to get to retention, but you need to be informed. Just saying, I want cheaper internet rarely works. They really do hold to their guns, but I find more than half the time I call and I know what the competitors are offering, then they are willing to match that, or at least give me a better deal, or give me something to keep me, because they know I'm an informed customer and I'm willing to switch. The other like quarter of the time where they won't match it is when I actually do switch. So if you are willing to switch, that will save you money. If you're not, being informed when you make that phone call to push to get a better deal will pay off. And lastly, one of the last big deals I find that people are getting tricked into is unlimited data plans. Now, things like Comcast and other companies have started to offer, AT&T I think does this too, where you can get under a terabyte for free, but if you go over a terabyte, it's an extra cost. Many of these companies offer a grace period. They'll offer 1 or 2 times going over it where they'll issue a warning and say, hey, we're going to give you a credit this time. If it happens again, you're going to have to pay this. I find a lot of people are just worried about that, and they're paying for unlimited data up front, and then later finding that, hey, I didn't go over a terabyte yet. So I would recommend, if your internet company offers a grace period where you could go over it once or twice before you get charged, try that. Actually watch TV, use it like you normally would, and see, hey, am I staying under my data cap? I will put some links down in the show notes down below that will link to a couple common tricks I find to stay under my data cap. But I find the vast majority of cord cutters don't go over a terabyte, even with streaming. Now, I do get it. There are people out there who do go over a terabyte in a month because they have a lot of people in the home. Maybe they are extremely active streamers. Maybe they do other things. Like I said, they work from home. They're uploading large files, downloading large files. There's a lot of reasons out there to go over a terabyte. But the vast majority, in our recent study of over 3,000 cord cutters, do not go over their data cap. So keep that in mind. And like I said, you can always add the unlimited data at a later point. But ask them, hey, if I go over it the first time, is there a grace period? Is there a credit to allow me to avoid any overage fees for the first time or two? If there is, take advantage of that, monitor your data, and then go from there. Well, there you go. There are my 5 tips to help you stay under your, or lower your internet bill. And I got tips down below to stay under your data cap. If any of these happen to help you save money, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear. If you have another tip like this, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your tip on how to save money on home internet. Maybe it will show up in a future video. But if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Helps us because it lets YouTube know you like this. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch what you want to watch. Make sure to check back tomorrow for more cord cutting news, tips, tricks, and how-tos. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your support. See you tomorrow.